What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back today with more Danmachi. And of course, we've got Familia Rush incoming here in just a matter of, well, it might actually be live by the time this video goes up. So we really need to talk about this. Now, guys, remember, Familia Rush is the one where each time you beat a boss, it's like a raid boss. Every raid boss you beat, then a new one opens up, and they just progressively get harder. Eventually, they do cycle around to the lower levels again. But the goal here is for you to work as a Familia, take out a boss, next boss drops in, and it just progressively gets harder and harder and harder. So, boss number 1. If I can actually get my cursor up here. Oh, no, I cannot. Alright, boss number 1. Red Fungus times 5. Plant Killer is effective. Water magic attacks are effective as well. Pay close attention to what is limited down here, because that's going to tell you what you can and cannot use. So physical is resisted by 50. Magic, on the other hand, is down 40%. So you really have to use a magic team on this. Now, fire is also resisted 70, and wind is resisted 30. So that means a fire team is just flat out. A wind magic team with plant killers could potentially, with ample debuffing, could potentially be viable. Obviously, water magic is going to produce the most damage, especially if they have plant killers, but you've really got to plan this out. If those of you guys that were here for the, not the 5th anniversary, but the 4th anniversary, you should be good to go on this. You'll have a water team that should be able to take this on, regardless of whether or not they have plant killers. You're not going to get top marks, but you'll be able to get some marks, and it'll be good. So it says over here, water magic attacks are effective. Red Fungus will inflict poison and stun on your party. That is the important part here. Double ailment. Now, here's the deal. Poison is annoying. Stun is turn ending. So while when you get poisoned, you do take a little bit of damage over time, when you're stunned, you can't do anything. So if you have to choose, I would say run stun resistance and then run a healer on your team so that you can just deal with the poison as you see fit. That will help you out big time. Now, if you don't have water magic, Earth, Thunder, Light, and Dark are all neutral, so you can still run those so long as you debuff accordingly. You know, there are going to be options out there. And obviously, if you got magic plant killers, I don't know why that was hard to say, then definitely use those. Let's see what it says here. So it says, try to increase your resistance to those effects using accessories or assets. Obviously, immune assists that will reduce damage from poison and stun. I would say just don't worry about the poison. Just use stun anklets to make sure you don't get stunned. Stun is especially dangerous since you won't be able to act, so make sure to take precautions against it, just like I said. Silver Saint made is perfect for battle with water magic attacks, plant killer, and the ability to remove status effects. Removing status effects is big, because even when your unit is stunned, you can actually just, or say stunned, poisoned, you can just undo the poison, and that just prevents them from taking damage that turn, which is super nice. Stun with status removal is interesting, because a lot of times you can change the way in which your team plays based on how frequently you have to unthaw people. It becomes a problem. I don't recommend it. I think it's a very poor way to run this one. I would say definitely run stun resistance. And if you can work in somebody like the Amid they're talking about down here that removes ailments, then just do that and make sure you're running a healer to heal any damage the poison does. Other than that, you're pretty good. Just really the stun is the biggest nuisance there. Okay? Now, once those units are defeated, then boss number 2 will drop in. Plant killers once again effective. Fire magic attacks are effective. So if we get on here, physical is once again resisted. Magic and fire are both down. Magic is down 30, fire is down 40. Water is resisted. So water is a straight up no-no. Any other magic plant killers you have would be very viable on this team. So let's see what it says here. Fire magic attacks are effective. This time the enemy will come at you with raw power instead of nasty status effects. So you can focus on buffing your own party to deal some damage of your own. Thousand Song Leafia's elemental affinity and killer skill give her a solid advantage as an attacker in this battle. They're trying to tell you to use that Leafia as a DPS. They will reduce wind resistance and increase strength and wind attack damage. So do be careful of that, though I'll be honest, I rarely find these bosses to be of any real consequence. Typically, they're really not going to have much way to hurt you. Unless you get really, really, really high level and, like I said, run a healer. Skill 3. Enemy number 3, Viscum. Plant killers once again effective. Thunder magic attacks this time are effective. Foes remove status buffs and self increase strength. So this foe will remove buffs at some point. Looks like all of them, in fact. And then will increase its own strength. Physical resistance down 30. Physical resistance up 30. Magic resistance down 40. So you do want to run some magic teams here. Remember, these are going to be the core stats that you see when you log in. So any kind of debuff you do on top of that. So you do magic resist down 15%. That 40% then becomes 55%. So it's very, very, very important to play with what you have at hand here. Now, fire, earth, water, and light are all neutral. So that means if you could debuff them, you could do very, very well. Wind and dark are both resisted pretty decently, so I would avoid using those at all costs. That's pretty much it. Once you beat that, then more or less you're just going to kind of come back around to enemy number 1. It'll be a little bit harder, and you keep going. So this will be running for several days. Make sure you log in every day. You will get 4 runs a day. You get 2 base runs, and then just by running events, you get 2 extra runs included. There is a trial mode. There's a mock battle mode that you want to use because you want to use that to make sure that you're getting out the maximum amount of damage per run. So use those mock battles accordingly. Bonus time is just it basically rebuilds your extra 2 fights a little bit faster, so you don't need to worry about that too much. But you might see your Familia blast out, hey, it's bonus time for the next hour. Make sure you log in. And I'll be honest, only a handful of runs gives you the max there. So if you can do that during bonus time, great. If you can't, it's not the end of the world. Other than that, guys, that is pretty much it. That is the incoming Familia Rush. It should be here really soon, if not already. Like, comment, share. I'll be back with more Danmachi for you guys here really soon.